Yes, so here we go. Here we go. It's your boy GFK. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for all the support, guys. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I've enjoyed the interaction. I've enjoyed everybody coming up with comments. Tips, ideas, suggestions. I got a lot of that, and I appreciate it. We're just doing this thing. Whatever, man. Just to hang out, talk to my people. Like I said, this is my excuse to hang out with my friends. So it's all good. Welcome, welcome. Listen, man, this is crazy. Today we're talking about Nigeria exclusively. Just a few thoughts. There's been a few things that have been going on, and I've been trying to I've been trying to figure out what's the best way to talk about this. One of the things that I want to just keep in mind is that there is no, how do I put this? There is no other way to say this than to say that Nigeria is in a difficult spot. Nigeria is in a hard spot, and I don't know what the solution is. One of the things that I learned last year about Nigeria is to calm down. One thing I learned about Nigeria is that I need to calm down. I need to relax because what do I mean? You can get agitated about Nigeria, man. You can get agitated because you're thinking about how things are, how people are suffering. But it's one of those things where it's bigger than just what you are seeing, right? It's more than what we can see. It's more than what we are observing. There's so much going on, and it's bigger than the conversations we're having. Because for one thing, and I've always, I think, underestimated this. Nigeria is huge. I mean, that's the things that blows my mind. Nigeria is huge. The landmass, the geographical area referred to as Nigeria is enormous. And so anytime you're having a conversation about, a Nigeria and how you want to, fix it and do like that, you have to think about which part of Nigeria do you want to start with. Because fixing Nigeria is not a matter of fixing Lagos. It's not a matter of fixing Ibadan. It's not a matter of fixing any part of the north or the south. Nigeria as an entity is massive. So the problems of Nigeria are massive. And that size is part of it. So today I just want to shoot the breeze about it. So when we think about Nigeria and Endsars, and one of the biggest concerns is that when you have a protest like today, I was seeing that even the protest they had for Endsars, there are some people that have come to disrupt the protest. They've come to turn it into a battle. And you want to ask yourself, who are these guys? Obviously, look, as a Niger guy, we know they are paid some people. That's no news. The fact that they paid somebody to come and disrupt Nigeria is no news. The problem is, at what point do people say that I'm not going to be a part of this? I'm not going to be a part of sabotaging the progress of the nation. I'm not going to be a part of, disrupting what people are doing to make Nigeria better. So my question is, like, those thugs that came to disrupt, are they saying that they want SARS to continue killing people? Is that their argument? Because unless you are somebody unless you're a SARS member yourself, why would you come and disrupt people that are complaining about what SARS is doing to the youth? It's amazing. So as you are working on it in one hand, someone else is going out there and trying to disrupt you. And you guys, I don't understand it. I see some of the guys on videos that they picked up who are trying to disrupt this. And I really wish they could I want to interview them. I want to ask, is it just the money? Is it just the money that makes you come and drop yourself as an enemy of progress? So that's what we're talking about today. And I am so moved by the fact that Nigerians, especially the young people, decided that they're going to say something. I think that was one of the things that worried me most about Nigeria. Is like, as a people, like myself included, we don't, before Nigerians can get up and say, oh, let's all get onto the streets, let's all fight for this, let's all fight for that. It takes a lot to get Nigerians to that point. And for me, it's a question of, do we have to wait until people die? Do we have to wait until lives are lost? Do we have to wait until we get to a point where we are looking around, all our people are dying, before we realize that we need to fight this fight early? We need to fight this fight now. Nigerian lives have been taken for granted. Nigerian lives have been dealt with as though they are not even worth anything. And that's why yesterday I was coming up on a video that I was watching, and I was moved because the man that spoke, I've heard about him. Is one of those guys who you hear about, as quote unquote a thought leader in Nigeria. But I have to say, like, he was saying some things yesterday that made me realize that it's not just a question of fixing Nigeria. The issue is, what is my relationship to the country? What is the relationship of the average man on the street to the nation? People are asking for patriotism. In order for you to be patriotic to a nation, you have to, first of all, there has to be a nation. Then you have to, your position in that nation has to be clear. Are we citizens? Nigerians, quote unquote, are Nigerians even citizens of the nation? I want to say welcome to everybody. If you are here, let me know you are here. Drop me a comment. We're talking about SARS and Nigeria in general. And I was like, there are those people that come out and say, "Oh, this SARS protest is useless. It didn't work. See, they changed it to SWAT." I feel like you're missing the point. You're missing the point. It's not that you get immediate results. It's not that you get results immediately that will end the issue. It's the fact that you can arouse the consciousness of the entire nation. That's the part that I think has been missing in Nigeria. How do you get a large enough number of Nigerians to be uncomfortable enough, and to all spheres of life? And I think for me, this SARS movement is a welcome relief. Is a welcome relief, because for too long it has seemed like you cannot motivate Nigerians to protest. You cannot motivate Nigerians to even care enough, right? The fuel hike and all that. It's like you can't motivate Nigerians. Every time you try to motivate Nigerians, you see other Nigerians telling you, what's your problem? Calm down. Look at this SARS movement now. You have thugs coming in to disrupt the protest. And I ask myself, these young thugs coming in to disrupt the protest, is it because they've been given money? And if it is that simple, then maybe, I'm thinking out loud. Now, if you're here, drop me a line, drop me a comment, let me know you're here. Let's talk about this. What do you feel about the SARS movement? Do you think it's effective? What do you think about it? Is it something, is it a good thing for the nation? Do you think it will lead to other things? Or do you think it's just a momentary action that will not lead anywhere? Especially when you now see that they've turned the SARS into SWAT. What does that say to you? Talk to me if you're here. Do you think that the SARS, movement is essentially, a failed movement? If the thing they are fighting for was merely just the name of the thing was merely changed. So you ended SARS, but you started SWAT. So that, to me, I know that makes it feel like it's a defeat. That makes it feel like it's a loss. That makes it feel like they just played a game with you. But I'll be honest, I don't see it like that. I don't see it like that. I see the awakening itself as a major issue. The fact that people can wake up. You see, it's important. Every revolution you see, every change you see, every part of the world where there's been change, it's the issue is, do you have to be able to say that the revolution started? So that's the first question. Is the revolution starting or not? And that's why I feel like Nigerians need to look at this and say, has the revolution begun, or is this a flash in the pan? Is this a flash in the pan? It's very important for us to have that conversation. So tell me what you think. The SARS movement, is it a real movement? Is it a flash in the pan? What is it? What do you think? What do you think it refers to? So I want you to drop a line. Welcome, it's your boy JFK. We are doing it live. We're talking about Nigeria today, SARS movement, and then we'll go a little bit into the question of going forward. What's a bigger issue for Nigeria? How do we save this thing called Nigeria? How can it be delivered? For a long time, I've kept it because I felt like I don't have the solution. But I see, when I see others moving up, I can join. I may not have the idea, but when I see other ideas, I can join. So what do you think about Endsars? What was your feeling about Endsars? Do you support it? Do you think it's a waste of time? Do you think it's effective? Especially now that they took SARS and they turned it into SWAT. Is it, in your own opinion, is it something that makes it look like it was a waste of time? My people, I see you here. Drop me a comment. Welcome. I see you coming in. Do you think SARS was a waste of time? Do you think it's a waste of time, or do you think it has a purpose? Even though they've changed the thing, they've made it into SWAT. What do you think about that? What do you think about the changing of SARS to SWAT? Does it nullify the movement? I want to hear you. Come on, drop me a line. Does it nullify the movement that they've changed the name? Because you can look at it and it can be discouraging. You can say, look, we said Endsars, and the authorities were playing games with us, and they said, oh, you want to end SARS? SARS is ended. By the way, we have a new one, SWAT. And if you end SWAT, we'll say snap, start snap. So it looks like it's a game that they're playing with us. It looks like it's a game. If you're here, drop me a line. Do you think it's a game? Do you think that these guys can ever take Nigerians seriously? These people in authority. My feeling on that is this: I will take even the movement. I'm satisfied that there's an awakening. All right. So they may change SARS into SWAT. Thank you, Brashegun is here. So it was not a waste of time, because even though they may play these games and do bait and switch, the bottom line is that the masses continue to be motivated. And that's important. The consciousness of the masses, the awakening of the people, but like the young people, is gold. Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. This thing is precious. To have Nigerian youth say, we are going to look away from entertainment, we are going to look away from all the other things that distract us, and we are going to focus on this matter. Yeah. Yeah, Prince of Peace. Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, it would be a waste of time changing the name, but it runs by the same bloodsuckers. I agree with you, but it is not a waste of time on behalf of the people who rose up. That's my point. On behalf of Nigerians, it's not a waste of time, because what you are having is that before this kind of movement comes up, you have the authorities believing that they can do, undo, get away with it. Nobody will bat an eye. This shows that there is a limit. This shows that you can go beyond your barrier, and if care is not taken, this can grow. Every person in authority understands that this can grow. Let me promise you something. If the authorities were not moved, if the authorities were not afraid of this, they would never have ended SARS. They would have just waited for you to riot and go home. The reason why even this change to SWAT that we are saying is the same thing, let me tell you something, is major. When you are able to move such an recalcitrant administration, both on the local and the national level, when you're able to make them do anything, it's a major change, because they are used to not listening to the masses. They are used to not caring about what the people say. They are used to you having protests and going home. When you get to a point where they are paying attention, you are doing something right. Amen. That's what I'm saying. You are doing something right. The SWAT thing notwithstanding, yes, they change it to SWAT. No, it's a major victory. Let me promise you, they would never have changed it to SWAT if they were not a little afraid of what's going on. That's my point. How many protests have you had? How many times have Nigerians say, hey, maybe not street protests, but it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't change anything. Because at the end of the day, these guys, quote unquote, in authority, believe that if you tire yourself out, you go back home. But on this issue, they decided that they had to do something. They had to do something. That's why I'm saying, it is not a waste of time. The fight is not a waste of time. It is important for us to do this fight. Ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to play some of the videos, from the movement. And I want to show you something about this movement. Many people, everybody knows about what's going on, but some people have not even seen, some of the things that we are seeing. And I want to let you know something. If not for the fact that Nigerians have decided that no longer going to take it lightly. Nigerians are no longer good. So I want to show you. These are some of the people that we have been finding that they are the ones. Some people that passed away. They passed away at the hands of SARS. And I want you to know something. If not for this movement, these lives would have been lost, and nobody would have said anything. So let me do this for you. Now, if you are here, drop me a comment. The question tonight is: do you think the SARS movement is a valid movement? Do you think it's effective, or do you think it's a waste of time, or do you think it's not going to make any difference? What do you think about SARS? Do you think SARS will make a difference? Do you think it's making a difference? Particularly thinking of the fact that they changed the name of the way I see it, they changed the name of the same force, from SARS to SWAT. But do you think that change itself is significant? I've said a few things that I think is significant. I think it's a major point. I think there's a reason why it happened. I think that we are forcing accountability when we make these people do even that small change. I think accountability is the point of this thing. If there's accountability, then you have started something. If they respond to you, you have started something. Many people are someone like me, I would have said I've given up on the idea that Nigerian can even respond. So the fact that they responded to me is major. Let me share a video with you. I'll share this video, and this is one of the things that we are seeing with the protests. Some people have seen it, some haven't, but this is what's going on in Nigeria. This is what's going on. I want to share this video with you. How many people we can breathe. Endsars now. 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 All right. If you are watching this, you see that a lot of these people, they've signed. I want you to pay attention to this. Look at the crowds.
For the next 1 minute, if you're a Nigerian youth and you're not a thief, and you're not a thief, and you're not a young boy, and you're not a young boy, for the next 1 minute, please let's go on our news. For the next 1 minute, let's all go on our news. For the next 1 minute. We are tired! We are tired!
And this was going on, ladies and gentlemen. This was going on. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch.
Before you shout, let me remind you of something that happened yesterday. Tell me. While we were protesting fast and police brutality, a young, beautiful woman, and a baby Allen, her name was Joy Eze. We followed her from a baby Allen down to Riseup, where she was being treated. She was shot from the mouth by a big happy police officer. Whoa. What is this? There was another man. What is that crime? There was another man. His name was Jima. His name was Jima in Port Harcourt. Jima was a mechanic. He took a car. After he must have repaired the car, he drove the car for testing. SARS accosted him. They arrested him. They beat him up. A woman police officer played with his blockers and crossed two of his coaches. Your father. Until date, Jima died a very horrible death.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me pause it. Let me pause this. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are talking about here is like even while they are protesting, you still have these things. They are still killing people. They are still killing people. Listen, Rashid, you're right. Do you realize power now? The question is, do they really realize their power, or is this a momentary thing? Please, if you are listening, thank you so much. See my people joining. Please drop me a comment on this issue. Do you think this SARS thing? Do you think is effective? Do you think it will last? Do you think it has? Do you think it has the potential to really change the conversation in Nigeria? Someone like me, I really hope it does. I really hope it does, because something has to give. Something has to change. And so I want you to listen again. They're talking about people that were recently killed, even while they are protesting this SARS. While they are protesting, people that just died. So I want you to know that this thing, if you look at it and you say, is it necessary to do all this? You will be paying attention. So let me show you again. Let me show you again, because there are some people that are going out there saying, oh, this is not necessary and stuff. I don't know what to say to those people, because it means that you have not been paying attention.
I was Tina in Tina was just a 16-year-old girl. I swear. A 16-year-old girl. We met with Tina's best friend. Tina's best friend says Tina used to teach her mathematics. Tina's best friend said Tina has an ambition. Tina was the star of the street. Tina was the star of the street. But Tina came from a poor home. That was her only. She was selling on the streets. That was her friend. And she was triggered. She was shot dead by a trigger police officer. Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I say, let me just say this. I can't play the whole video. You can go online. Check out all the videos. On my flyer, I put the faces of some of the victims of police brutality in Nigeria. And what we are saying is this. Let me break this down to you. I thank you, Brashegun. Checking, if you want me, I want to send you. Brashegun, thank you. Topper is here. Yes, the movement is growing. Brashegun, particularly, I wanted to send you, if you're available, I want to send you an invite to join the show live if you are available. Let me know, Brashegun, if you are, because you indicated yesterday that I'd love to. But let me know. I wanted to really bring you in just for a quick one, because everybody's passionate about this, but you were quick to even tell me yesterday, look, I want to see, I want to talk about this. And when I look at something like that, like, your level of interest matters a lot. But so everybody coming in, thank you. What we are saying today is, do you, like Brad just said, the movement is real and it's growing. Now, Brad, at least you're on the ground, and I love it when people on the ground are there with me. Tope, let me know, when you say it's growing, what do you mean? Is it getting bigger? Are more people joining? What's happening? Because my whole thing is, and Brad, I sent you the link. If you click on it, it should bring you in as a guest, and you can join me in the conversation. So what we're saying is this: someone like me, I gave up on trying to talk about Nigeria because I realized that I don't have a clue how to even solve that problem. I don't know where to go. Because one of the things that has always bothered me, you see, there's a fundamental issue at the bottom and the core of what I believe is Nigeria's problem. And that is human life not being valued. Come on. And that's why this movement is important. You see, it all boils down to this little core. What is the value of a life? That's it. That is simply it. If we have this conversation, what is the value of a life? It is the same conversation here in America. It's the same conversation talking about Corona. It's the same conversation talking about Black Lives Matter. It is the same conversation talking about Nigeria and SARS and police brutality. It's the same conversation talking about Boko Haram. The same conversation talking about herdsmen and farmers. It's the same conversation. What is the value of life, of a human life? And it is so annoying, right? You see, let me join it a little bit to what's going on. Please, if you are here, drop me a comment. What do you think about the Endsars movement? Do you believe in it? Do you think it's a waste of the SARS SWAT? Does that it was a waste, or is it still a good thing? We want to get the feelings of people. If you're in Nigeria, people, if you are here, let me know what's on ground. So let me know. Tope says the movement is real and is growing. Let me put your stuff up here. The movement is real and is growing. And the question is, what is the end point? That's the question I have for the leaders of the Endsars movement. The question is, what is the goal? Because I'm looking at it and I'm glad it looks like it's going beyond just SARS. That's what I was waiting for, and it looks like it's happening. It's going beyond just the SARS. It's going into police brutality. It's going into corruption, right? It's going into the failure of government all around. And at the bottom of this conversation, life. Human life, the value of human life, as opposed to, for instance, the value of money. And so that's why it's a big conversation. It's a conversation. You see, Nigeria changing depends on the answer to this question. What is the value of a Nigerian life? What is the value of the average Nigerian life? Does a Nigerian life mean something? Does every death require a response? Why did this person die? Could it have been prevented? And how do we make sure nobody dies like this again? And that's why this movement is dear to me, because it feels like it is at the core. This movement is the core. Oh, thank you. Gafar Otumba is here. My guy. Yes. Gafar from Model College. How far? Alaji. How far, my brother? Good to see you. So let me, I'm going to bring Bashir going in here now. But let me bring Gafar Otumba's point. I want to bring it to life. Prince said, one life lost is too many, but we have many leaders who are busy sharing money. That's the conversation. Money, life. Money and life. Like those thugs that are being sent now to disrupt the Endsars movement. So some thugs were in Lagos. They are attacking the protesters. And I want to, these thugs, I know it's money. But so, and I think it's sometimes a hard conversation to have. Because the person who needs the money will tell you, what are you talking about? Are you going to give me money? Don't you know I need money to live and survive and to enjoy? So don't tell me that money is not important. I'm not saying that. My only question, and it's a naive question I get, and that's why I've been quiet about Nigeria, because Nigeria has continued to remind me that I know nothing. Every theory I have, every idea, every concept, every big grammar, Nigeria will disappoint it. Because something will happen in Nigeria and people will just be like, it's normal. I grew up there. I know that feeling myself. But the problem is sometimes when you see another world and you say that it can be done differently, you tend to go back and say, this is not right. So Gafar's point is this. I love this. Gafar says, let me just say, the moment will not work. If the moment will work, if we don't allow politicians to hijack it already there has been attempt by some politicians to lean on the movement, but so far it has been rejected. The movement, however, should not block movement of people. Around the. So in other words, it should be the kind of movement, and I love that point. I'll address it now. It's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. So there's a level of sympathy that every movement will garner from those on the outskirts of it. As long as the people who are watching your movement are saying this movement is just, it's righteous, even if they don't join you, they can at least agree with you. If they can at least agree with you that the movement is justified. Sister Joke is here. My sister, God will help us. So we are now at the point where is God telling us to help ourselves? Is God looking back to us and saying, have I not given you everything you needed? Have I not given you brains? Have I not given you tenacity? Have I not given you boldness? You are praying and I'm giving you things, but you're not seeing the things I'm giving you, and you keep praying. That's a different conversations. But Tope confirmed it has grown beyond just the issue of SARS, which is what I was hoping for, because we've needed a revolution for a long time. We've needed a revolution for a long time, and this might be. So I'm going to my brother Shegun. You are here. Let me have Rashid Odofan to the team over here. Shegun,
I'm good. Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Live, can you hear me well?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have any? You have a volume, but you can increase your volume a little bit if that's possible. Otherwise, we're still good. We're good like this.
Okay, but can you hear me better now?
This is good. So, Bashe, okay. I'll throw you in at the deep end and just give you just a quick question, like I've asked everyone else. Why are you passionate about this particular? I've seen you online. Why are you passionate about this movement? What is it about this movement that's got you interested?
Yeah, why I'm so passionate about this movement is because the Nigerian youth, we've been sleeping for a long time. And they've really treated us as if we don't matter. And, every time the political circle, the political class, they just keep doing the same thing. And the people that are suffering are the youths, because we have to realize at some point, these people are going to die. They're going to leave us a broken nation. They're going to leave us a nation that, we cannot even pass anything to our next generation. And if we don't start fighting for the next generation now, then even if we break up, for those agitating for breaking up, it's still the same political elites that will lead the regions. So they're not taking this protest serious, like the government might just think it's a protest, it's the youth and all whatnot. Listen, if you're an historian, you will know that was how the Aba women riot started. And they thought it was just some market women leading riots, and Pelewura was leading riots in Lagos. Before you know it, the fire caught everywhere. And the British were forced to give us what we wanted.
Let me come in. I love how you incorporated that history. I don't know if you are like me, having just watched this amazing documentary on Netflix. The moments. Let me tell you something. I'm not usually into. I don't believe in those astrology and something, but there are times where it seems like stars align.
Yeah.
This documentary is coming out and showing us the attempts by our ancestors to fight the oppressor, showing us that even though there was a lot of losses, by Nigerians fighting the invaders, at the end of the day, what led to our independence is still this agitation of some. It was still people, Nigerians were still the ones that kept rising up. They will rise up in one generation, another generation will rise up. There's a consistent pattern that everything we have gotten, even the things that we have gotten and that we have now destroyed, was gotten by fighters, by people who nothing was given, nothing has ever been given. And so I want to tie that to what you are saying about the Nigerian youth, and sometimes, and that's why I brought up the question. There are people who are looking at it and saying that it won't really be effective, and obviously they are using also as a point that they change the SARS, they change it to SWAT, and so there are some people that come up and tell you, didn't I tell you guys you are wasting your time? Didn't I tell you guys you are just wasting, you are just going on the streets for nothing? Or are you okay now? As your Bible says, now they have changed your SARS to SWAT. What's next? Is it not a failure? I look at those people and I say, are you serious? Like, do you not understand how movements build? Do you not understand that none of the great things you see now started without a little spark like this? And even if the spark gets them to change the name of SARS to SWAT, I promise you they were never going to change it from SARS to SWAT before. So if you move the needle, you are moving. And the idea is, and that was what I was confirming with my guys on ground, like Tope, thank you, Tope already says, they are not, the movement is growing. So, and the riots are spreading. I'm even surprised. I thought it was a weekend thing, couple of days thing. This thing is not, even with the people that are coming to sow discord, coming to attack the rioters, they're coming to attack the protesters, and they are starting riots to turn them to rioters. The youth are not deterred, and they are literally now adding agenda to agenda. That they are coming for the Senate, they are coming for, and I just feel like, you know, it's a movement that we need to take a hold of. Go ahead.
And trust me, I love our Generation Z. Our Generation Z, those 18-year-old,
yeah,
26-year-old kids.
Yeah,
listen, those people are going to change Nigeria.
Wow. Talk to me.
Stuff they do on the internet.
They're
tired. They're not going to accept the nonsense we took.
They're
tired. Everybody is tired. We cannot keep having the same circle of people rule us. Do you know, since independent, everybody in government now have one connection or the other to that independent era. So we need to change all of them, take all of them out. We are being more than their US counterpart.
So we are being governed by eyewitnesses to the amalgamation.
From the amalgamation. And we say we have collected independence 60 years ago, and we still have the same set of people ruling us.
That's a problem.
Still have the same old idea. The colonial idea is still in them.
That's a problem.
Not under a colony.
I said something. I said, in this generation, any nation that has a ruler who cannot operate an iPad is in trouble. If you have rulers who don't understand the time they are in, you know, who are not able to even have conversations about what's going on in the world. And that I don't want to bring up, you know, the last election, but inevitably you do. The last Nigerian election taught me a very bitter lesson, because I was on the opinion that maybe I was too early with that, because this kind of movement is what I was hoping would take place in that last election, that young people will rise up and change the conversation, because I always believe there's enough young people to change Nigeria.
Yes.
They are sufficient in numbers and in intellect. And the thing that hurts me is when I see, for instance, in the last election, you see that they sent some thugs to some polling stations to go and hijack the ballot boxes, chase away the voters. And I said, look at the people they are sending to chase away people. It's young people. It's the youth. These politicians themselves, these old politicians, they cannot themselves go and disrupt elections. They cannot hijack elections. They need thugs. They always need thugs to do the thing that they want to do to disrupt.
Area boys that select the president and the governors go to Lagos. Lagos is no matter how you vote, at the end of the day, it's MC Oluomo's boys, all these area boys that will vote. They will go there, carry the ballot. But
no, we saw it.
You know, we have to just understand, poverty knows no tribe.
Right.
Poverty knows no tribe.
Right.
It's just pathetic. I went home the last time and I just, if not the love I have for my country, I will not go back again, because I was harassed by them.
Wow.
Because I happen to be working with a company then that I can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And they took my phone, my laptop in Lekki there.
Are you serious?
It was crazy.
You're serious?
I'm serious. It's crazy. It is pathetic.
Wow. And but these area boys, you know, I just feel like there has to be a way to reach them. I was saying at the beginning of the show, you know, we're at the point where I'm saying, if money is the issue, sir, if money is the issue, I think we should start thinking about putting together funds for the purpose of influencing the people that are being used as thugs. If the politician is paying you something to go and disrupt an election, I wish there was a way to convey to those people that, I wish I had money where I can say, how much are they paying you to disrupt the election? How much are they paying you to attack the opponent? How much are they paying you for this thuggery and this stuff?
Rafemi, the money you're talking about, you cannot have the money the politicians have, because they're using our own money to buy the election.
So it's difficult to match, you know, the money that they have stolen, because the money I was supposed to use is the one they stole from me.
They stole.
So I don't have that money anymore. They do.
To attack you.
I mean, that's why I guess that's why we are finding money inside Sockaway, finding money inside boots.
Buildings.
Did you see the one?
They will buy so many houses here and there. And
did you see?
In Nigeria,
did you see the video of the money that got rotten?
Yeah. You know how many like that money would have saved?
It just got rotten inside the place. The person put it there, forgot it. Maybe the person has even passed away. And in a suffering nation, ladies and gentlemen, just to bring you this, my brother Sheikh Odofa, chef extraordinaire, this is my brother. And we're talking about this Endsars movement, and I want to get your opinion. Please drop your comment. What do you think? Endsars, is it a valid movement? Will it be effective? Do you think that, for instance, the example of them changing SARS to SWAT, do you think that shows that is not effective? Do you think that that's a detriment, a disadvantage? Because it looks, I know some people have argued that it looks as if the authorities are playing with us. They say Endsars, then say we'll start SWAT. And it looks as though they are playing games. But are you of the opinion that that means that this movement is useless, or what do you think should happen with the movement? And now, Brashego, I'm going to add to the issue. Now, one of the things I want to tie into this, because the SARS thing is ongoing, on the issue of Nigeria going forward, I've been quiet about it a long time. I keep saying that because I've just felt like the things that I thought we could discuss about Nigeria, I've just begun to realize that I sometimes sound naive. Some of us are being considered very naive when we are here talking about reformation, talking about let's end corruption. It just sounds like you don't know. And especially if you are, so those of us who are abroad, you're in diaspora, there's always this sense as which you don't know what's going on. Please be quiet. And I'm humble enough to always defer to guys who are on ground. That's why on my show I say, hey, if you're in Nigeria, I want to hear from you. What's going on with SARS? What do you think SARS is going to accomplish? Now, so on the issue of the way forward, so I have come to distill this thing down to 3 options for Nigeria's future. Now, let me know what you think about this. And everyone listening, please chime in. Let me know what you think. Nigeria going forward, 3 options: restructure. Is that you restructure, divide, or disintegrate? Let me say that again: restructure, divide, or disintegrate Nigeria. And that's why I'm trying to get people to engage on this issue, because for a long time I have said that restructuring for me is an option, because restructuring is, for me, it's something we can see if we can agree. It's just a way to bring us together on any decision. Bayo says, the SARS protest has shown us that all tribes have the same issue and pain. We are more united than we see in a long time. A Yoruba person is marching by an Igbo person. I like Bayo because Bayo thinks logistically. What he has caused me to think about is Igbo youth, Yoruba youth. And even in Lagos, I know that in the north, there's a slight dichotomy, which we can get to as to why the north would have a different perspective, which many of us suspect anyway. But I see in some of the protests, even some of the northerners in the south, I've been looking at the videos. So there are some people of Hausa descent who are in the south who are joining this movement because their own exposure and their understanding is that we are all in it together. And I think that unity, and that's why people who say, oh, the movement, yeah, I'll get back to you now. People who say the movement is a great movement, but how do we get results? Bayo, Bayo, let me know if you are able to jump on. I can send you a link to Bayo. I know I've been trying to get you for a business conversation, but let me know if you are here. Please, what do you think about the SARS movement? Do you think it has hope to work? Do you think it can lead to something bigger for us? And on the second part, how do we resolve the issue of Nigeria in terms of restructuring, breaking up, scatter, divide, cut it, spread it? What is the way out? Because I personally, like I said, I have come to find out that there's no simple solution to this. So let me bring Brashego back in here. So now, so like I was saying, so the issue is now that if you're looking at restructuring, I like what you've said. You said, because you actually, answered one of my biggest issues, because I'm looking at, do we ask permission from the oppressors in order to have a conversation about restructuring them so that they can no longer oppress us? We will never get that permission. As a matter of fact, whatever we do, they will sabotage. But like you said, the key is not to wait for permission. The key is to start, have the conversation. And I think that's why it's such it's a disturbing trend when you have those who want to divide are on one side, those who want to restructure are on the other side. And in my mind, I feel like there should be a middle ground. I feel like, and I heard something yesterday when I was looking through videos from the gentleman they called the General Mayegun. I was watching a video. Now he started on the side of, it was interesting. His whole conversation was basically, he was denigrating any of us that are saying restructure. He was saying, you guys have no clue. If you are saying restructure, you are just elites speaking big grammar. You don't know what's going on. And on the other side, I thought he was going to go all the way into let's divide, let's break up. But it was interesting where he landed. He actually landed in a place where, for me, he ended up being like a restructurer who is sympathetic with the breaker uppers. so he said we should do a referendum. He said there should be a referendum in which it should be up or down votes. Nigerians should have a referendum, up or down votes. Should we break up, Brexit, or should we stay? And I see some merit in it, because it might solve the issue of, because I look at what Jonathan tried to do with the restructuring, and I say to myself, will it really work? If you are trying to have a if you're trying to have a confab and bring people together, the last confab, I don't know if you paid attention. One of the things that bothered me, the people that went for the confab, some of them were sleeping. We saw the videos. They were sleeping at the confab. Some of them went and collected the allowance for the confab, and they ran. So the problems that attend Nigeria are not, we know they are not just leadership problems. Even us among us, like I said, there are some thugs now disrupting the Endsars movement. Obviously, they've been paid, but there are people who are willing to sabotage. And now I can see where you're coming from. Like, that will always be there, but that should not stop us from the attempt to have this conversation. So let me ask you this: if you are thinking of restructuring, give me about 3 points on which you can base an idea of restructuring for Nigeria.
Okay. If we're to restructure Nigeria, right? First of all, we need to decentralize the federal government. Because right now, the system is not working. The president has just too much power. It shouldn't be so. The power should lie more with the local government. 2, we are a multicultural country. The presidential American system might not be the right system of government for us. We should figure out a system of government that allays the fear that, okay, this tribe is not going to be ruling forever. That tribe is not going to come there and siphon money. So we need to work on changing our system of government. That is very important. And when we're talking of restructuring too, you know, when it comes to sharing of the national whatever, like, how would I put it? The locality, more funds should be going to the local government. Not even the state government, the local government. Because the local governments, they are closer to the people than the state government. They know what is going on in their locality. And as I said again, as Nigerians, we need to get more involved. Question your chairman in your local government. Okay, brother, I can't hear you now.
I got it. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So here's the pushback. Like I said, I became humble. My brother is a Gafar. He said, Damlola Ogusha is in the building. Prince is enjoying you, Brashegu. He's agreeing with you that, you know, we need to look for a system that works for us, whatever that is going to look like. Let me see. So we have a conversation going here. I'll get to Gafar and Tokpe now. So Damlola is indicating that oppression in Nigeria has become a way of life, and it's time for us all to take back our future. Many of our leaders enjoyed scholarship to be educated, but they did not promote merit, but backdoor things, and that Nigeria needs deliverance. I like that concept. It's like, you know, the oppression itself, like you said earlier, the mindset, the mentality of oppression. It's almost like for people who ourselves were oppressed, and like we said earlier, if anybody who's watching that documentary about the African journey, the colonial story of Nigeria, if you're like me, if you're watching that series on Netflix right now, your blood is boiling because you have.
Everybody should watch it. I watched it. I watched the whole series in a night. I almost did because our history just is so distorted.
It is.
You will not believe it. Actually, women were the ones that started the movement for gaining Nigeria independence.
There you go.
Nobody ever mentioned these women.
You see, when and that's why even starting my FB live was based on this issue. Facts, you know, historical facts are important to every conversation. You need to know what you are saying before you say it. So, and that's that's why when you watch a documentary like that, because I love the way the documentary is set. It is set in such a way that you can understand the trajectory and the how everything connects. The business, the commercial motives of the colonialists, and the counter motive of Lord Lugard not to develop Nigeria, because Nigeria developing under him would challenge his authority. So he did all he could to subvert industrialization. And all of a sudden, I, as an example, that knowledge that I got from that scene explained something to me that I never understood. There are many other colonies that the colonialists, ruled over, that they developed to a certain point, that by the time they left, those nations were able to use what was left to build further and not be as mired in the negative part of their colonization. So in Nigeria, we had a governor. Basically, we had somebody who was in charge of Nigeria, who was definitely suppressing development. So he would take all the materials from Nigeria and send it to the home country to develop and industrialize. But when it came time, in fact, yes, I think it's the African Journey. Sister Yinka, if you go, I think I might not be calling the full name. The African Journey, and then the subtitle, the journey of the story of Nigeria as a colony. Yeah, I'll get it for you before the night is done. But so in that story, Lord Lugard did not want them to develop Nigeria, because in some other colonies, as they were colonizing, they were developing the place even for their own benefit, so that they will be getting revenue. Lord Lugard had a policy of, I don't want this country to develop. Do you know, Bashegu, when I watch this documentary, this blows my mind. It's the first time I ever heard any story that the first person who discovered oil in Nigeria discovered it in 1906.
Yes, but they refused to develop it.
They told him they are not interested. Yeah. Unfortunately, the man died like 3 years after.
That's what saved Nigeria. If not, probably they wouldn't even give us independence in 1960.
No, but this is precisely because we don't know what would have happened. Giving us independence could still be inevitable. They would, every nation got their independence from everybody who ruled them. Whether or not you develop it or you don't develop it, people will fight eventually. It will take longer, it takes sooner, we don't know. But the idea that the thing that would have, the resource that we had, that maybe now people say it's a curse. Some people say the oil is a curse. When we discovered oil, we suffered. Maybe if we have discovered it at a time when we were oppressed and we ourselves did not have access to it, our fight would have included gaining access to our oil. And maybe that would have caused us to act. I don't know what the effect would have been. But in that same documentary, they showed that because the oil industry was discouraged from getting oil in Nigeria, they moved their operation from the UK operations to the Middle East, to Persia, to Saudi Arabia, to Dubai.
Yes.
So today we are looking at Dubai and say they are enjoying their oil wealth. Well, their oil had been developed. They built refineries there. So when the colonialists left, they left refineries. So we see all those little bits. So now the question now becomes, a people that have suffered such oppression, why is oppression? I understand the mentality where you download what you have been dealt. But we are so educated that I feel like we should be able to wiggle our way out of that mentality. And that it should be free. Go ahead.
The education probably is our problem. It's like we're too smart, because how would I put it?
Over-sabi is bothering us.
Genius people everywhere. And look at who is leading us. Does the guy even have a school certificate?
But Chef, don't get me started on that, please. You are going to upset me very much.
Go ahead. Mention a point. Do you know that even from the name Nigeria, the name Nigeria is an insult?
Yes,
the history of that name.
I saw how they broke it down.
Area. Why should we even be bearing a name like
that? it's amazing. Like, if you don't know your history, sir, you wallow in ignorance and you will suffer.
Wallow in ignorance. And we name all these places Lord Lugard Boulevard. Those people are part of the problem we have today.
Yeah, let me just give to our people. Thank you, Brother Bayadedeji. The documentary is a journey of an African colony. Journey of an African colony. If you want to really, I just love the fact that it's coming out now. IBK, that's right. Oh, IBK is from the UK. What's up, bro? How's it going? So we are learning that, you know, Nigeria, you see, and that's where I don't know where I got this information. I thought the Nigeria thing was simply a question of our river was Niger, and all the places around it are the area. Around Niger. That's so it's Niger area. So, but the idea is that the Niger part of that conversation came from Negre, which was linked into Niger.
Yeah.
Which is what is in the area of niggers. So we are pledging to this word. We are singing anthem to this word.
To this nigger area.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, BC, I don't know who verified it. So BC said, is it true? No, the historians that were on that video, they connected the dots, because the truth is, even the word Niger, I guess my history, please correct me, all those of us who learned around the same time. My understanding was that the river Niger, it was almost as if it was always called River Niger, as if it was never called anything else. But
it was the British that called it River Niger.
Yeah, so the question is, where did they get the word Niger? Because
Niger is nigger. That's what the word is.
But now I know. Now I know. But before that, the thing that because now they broke it down, and that's why I said you have to verify facts. When I was watching that, there was skepticism. I said these guys are just making it up. But when they now broke it down, you see, it is so important. They said the river that passed through Nigeria is a part of the Nile River. So in other words, it already had a name. It was part of the Nile River.
So why
that crossed through? So it did not really need another name. So now you now have to ask of the origin of the Niger, because there was nothing around there that was named that before, and that it now makes sense that, because don't forget, the Portuguese were in the port of Lagos.
Yes.
Before the British came and took over. So the Portuguese and the Spaniards were also going around capturing locations. So the Latin words and the Spanish language was very dominant in when people were naming things. We have that history till today. You know, Latin is something. If you want to learn English, you must learn Latin.
And
so, go ahead.
Brathen, I did history and international studies when I
went
to university in Nigeria.
There you go.
And you know, the funny part of it is, so many of these things I now discovered were not even taught to us at the university level.
They
and
weren't.
In that documentary, I had 2 of my professors there to back up the facts.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Lagos State University.
Wow!
So
wow! Imagine.
The conviction that yes, this is historical fact, not.
It's amazing. The beauty of it is you can connect. When you can connect something, you can verify it. Dr. Badu is in the building. Doctor is in the building. My doctor. That the understanding is correct. These are the guys who have known things like this before, and they are waiting for the rest of us to catch up. So I know Tokpa is asking. Yeah, Tokpa, we just broke it down. It was River Niger was the central naming point, but the word Niger itself that was attached to River Niger was the root of it was negre, Spanish for black, down, which was now turned into derogatory term during the slave trade into nigger. And so it was the area of niggers, and that's what Nigeria is. You know, and the fact that we've embraced it, I'll be honest with you, I don't see the solution right now as you know, okay, like Niger has its own source, but sir, the name was not given by any of the indigenes. And that's where the story comes from in that documentary, that in its own origin, it's itself, and it's originated from the Nile. And of course, it's connected to the Nile. It is the portion of the Nile that ends up in that region that is called the Niger River. So when you look at Nigeria map, the river we are calling Niger River enters Nigeria and leaves. It doesn't end because it's coming as part of the Nile and leaving. So I like that you're right. I use every large body of water will get its own name, but the large body of water getting its own name is getting its name because it has now been captured into a larger context. In this case, into an area that has been colonized. The 1884 conference that they did, where they shared Africa amongst the colonial powers, where they drew up the maps before they even went to the location. We have suffered. We have suffered.
It's pathetic.
You see, but now let me tie it to the issue at hand. We have suffered, so we should just not suffer ourselves. We should not suffer ourselves.
And why is important? Let me make this point. Why is important for us to look back into our history? Before we can think of the future, we have to look back into the history. What mistakes were made before we can think of
how to fix it.
Whether we divide, whether we are together.
How to fix it.
Back to the source, to the history of how our country was founded.
Wow. So and like you said, when you, and even as much as the women and their role in fighting for independence, you know, the Aba women market women riots, the Aba protests. That story blew my mind.
It blew my mind.
Look at these women. Let me tell you one fact. Please, if you are watching the documentary, I'm not spoiling it, but the documentary, so it's not so much things only for too much suspense, just education. There's a point I wanted to make that fascinated me. When they did the register of those who suffered the loss of life in that fight, in those protests, when they did the register, they named all the women that died, about 56 women. They now named a man who died and another man who was wounded. And I said to myself, yes, at least one man died with them. Thank you, sir. This man died. But then they now went and told us that he died by accident.
that blew my mind too.
Yeah. They said he didn't really die as a rioter. One man was killed by accident. I said, oh, this guy, why now? So we have no representation at all in this riot. So bring that to the present day. Is it not now incumbent on us to look at the women of Nigeria and really understand their potential? Are we the ones that should be suppressing and oppressing our women?
Exactly. Look at that lady. What's her name? Amina or whatever.
Yeah, the icon. She's an icon at this point.
I love her.
At this point, she's an icon. I had goosebumps watching her and listening to her. I'm like, who is this? And I tell you one thing that saddened me. I saw some of the attacks against her from the Muslim brothers and sisters, especially, saying that she was not representative of a revered Muslim woman. And it hurt me, because I know you always have trolls and all that. I just felt like in a moment like that, whatever faith you are, whatever religion you are, when you see somebody fighting for justice and freedom, you cannot, if you come out and you say that is against your religion, you are condemning your religion.
Nigerian, we are extremists in everything we do.
We like extremism.
In our Islam, we're extremists. We know more than even the people that brought the religion to us.
We are good at it.
It's just the mentality.
We copy things and we are better than the guys who brought it.
Yes.
That's our thing.
In the wrong way. It's not like we copied it and we're using it to better ourselves.
Yeah. Let me do this. I'll give you one last question that I want to release you because I'll be closing out the show. Yeah. Again, to those who say the solution is to break up, what would you say?
I will tell them it is not yet time for that fight. First, let us unite as a country and fight for restructuring and fight for how people can have constant light and fight for how that little boy can eat at night and fight for the poor people sleeping in slum, because the slum doesn't determine whether you're Yoruba, you're Igbo, you're Hausa. Go to the north, they are suffering there. Go to the east, everywhere. Let us address those issues. Then come together and decide, do we want to continue as a country? If we want to, we'll restructure. We don't want to, we the youth, we decide, okay, let everybody go their own way. Shikena, we'll go our own way. But dividing is not even the problem. If you don't remove all those political leaders that you have right now, all those people stealing the money, they will still come to your division and steal the money.
They will steal your divided nation.
Your divided nation. You understand what I'm saying?
I love it.
We see the likes of Uzo Okalu, Tinubu, and the rest of them that will be the presidents in these various regions. We still not have mouth.
Yeah, we'll be oppressed only in a smaller context.
In a smaller way. Okay, but I tell you, okay, it's the Oba of this thing that has to be the head of all the Yoruba, and the youth, they will not listen to us again.
Wow. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Brashegu, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you, my brother.
You're going to be regular. Look, you owe me 3 coolers of jollof rice anyway.
No problem.
From African Watchers. If you are here in the US, just contact Brashegu for food and forget it. You know that button that is Staples. They say just press the Staples button and forget it. Contact Brashegu, forget it. Your food is set. If you want food, if Brashegu do jollof rice for you, he will make it look as if it's pounded yam, but it's not. He has deceived me many times where I thought, am I using my hand or a spoon? Brashegu, God bless you. I love your work. And I'll talk to you soon. Yes, thank you, Brashegu. There goes my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something. It's a matter of life and death at this point. BC is here, Ibukun is here, Yinka is here, Dr. Badru's been dropping in all day. Prince is here. Topper came in with me. I want to continue this question. Now, the next question is this. Oh, perfect. I'll check my inbox. If you the man. So, okay. So now look at this. What is your take on the issue of restructuring or dividing? I put on my flyer something that said we restructure, we divide, or we disintegrate. There are three distinct possibilities. What do you think about Nigeria and going forward? Restructuring. Those who are clamoring for restructuring are saying, they've been saying it for a while, that we need to reset, that we are not practicing a real federalism. We are not practicing federalism the way it should be practiced, so we don't have the right to continue the way it is. That even our constitution needs to be fixed to reflect our true situation. I mean, Nigerians, you and I know that our constitution has never enjoyed continuity. The military have come in a couple of times, so obviously our constitution is battered. They put decrees into our constitution that have mixed it up, that it's a battered constitution. So the constitution does not address so many of the things that we are facing in modern Nigeria. That's number one. Number two, the restructuring comes forward because you need to look at whether or not your system, if your system is not working, you need to do something about it. The concentration of power and attention in the center in Nigeria does not favor the divide that is our natural divide, our local divide. We are people coming. We are an amalgamation of people. We were amalgamated even against our will. That documentary that I'm talking about, Journey of an African Colony. Wow, it's mind blowing. You know some of these things here and there, but when they put it together for you like that, you begin to have some clarity. None of this was our doing in terms of permission or consent. Even the kings and some of the local rulers that were allowed to continue to rule, it turns out they had to come up here and they had to acquiesce to the colonial masters. Otherwise, they would have been blown out of the water. So even some of the ones that signed treaties, like the Oba of Lagos, that signed treaties with them, like some of the emirs, the emir in Borno, who signed treaties with Lugard's people, they did it because they had seen what happened to the other guys that didn't sign treaties and were just vanquished. So none of those treaties were even signed, voluntarily. So, and that's why, we need to think about this. Restructure. Can Nigeria still make it as one unit? Is it still possible? Because if it's possible, then we can talk about, let's do what we need to do to make it possible to reset it. But if it's not possible, then we should not be in the camp of trying to save something that is unsalvageable. That's the problem we have. And I know that we can't have consensus on that, but we should have a majority opinion or perspective on it. And unfortunately, if you look at the history and look at what's going on, there does seem to be a dichotomy where a certain region of this nation is enjoying and has enjoyed senior citizen status. There's a portion of Nigeria that seems to be enjoying privileged status. Now, don't get me wrong. Privileged status, not in the sense that they don't have problems or they don't have poor people or they don't have struggles, but in the sense of on the political scale, that region seems to be given so much deference, so much deference. One of the most horrible things I've heard from any representative of this current government is this gentleman, Shehu Garba, who had the nerve, when people were complaining about the price hike of petroleum, he had the nerve to say and ask that those who are clamoring and are shouting about the price of oil, that they are not, after all, how many Nigerians actually have cars? How many Nigerians have generators that they are shouting about oil? This is from somebody who's a spokesperson for the administration. Now, it doesn't help that he's from the north. It doesn't help that in making that statement, he now went ahead and said, what about the he literally said, what about the farmers and the cow herders whose money is being used, to subsidize? Are you kidding me? You are trying to make it sound as if the North is subsidizing the South? This is what I'm talking about. So if people like that are the helm of affairs, how do you restructure with those people? I'm saying that to bring the position of those who are saying restructuring is a pipe dream. I am not, maybe a few months ago, maybe a few years ago, I would have said No, it's not a pipe dream. We must restructure. It's going to happen. It's possible and it's necessary. I'll be honest with you. I'm not so sure anymore that there can be any solid restructuring in Nigeria, because the ingredients, right, the pieces that you need to restructure are not there. You see, the court system is corrupt, has been corrupted. Definitely, the political landscape is itself corruption. The legislative system, senators, when you have senators and former senators displaying wealth online, how do you even begin to have a conversation? And that's why, you know, Jonathan's attempt at the confab, for me, I give him kudos for the attempt. I give him kudos for the idea. I can't even blame him for the failure, because it was a failure to the extent that there was a lot that went wrong with it, but it was the selfishness of people. People went to the conference to chop money as normal Nigerians. People went to the conference and slept. Some people did not show up for the meetings or the sessions. Then they were sent as representatives from their people, which is what we are talking about. Send representative, send representative. They have sent representative, but the representative went there to sleep. So it is difficult to get Nigerians to the point where we can really restructure Nigeria. And we have not even started to talk about what does restructuring mean? What will it look like? Who will it favor? Will it favor all equally? What will it mean for the minority populations? Because that's the other conversation. But this is where I now jump to the other side and say, breaking up Nigeria is not such an alternative that can be a counter alternative to restructuring, because it has the same problems. How do you break it up? Where do you start? Who will decide which parts go with which part? What will happen to the minority populations, the middle belt? What will happen to them? How will their interests be protected? Why should they not also be given the opportunity to also break up? Into how many pieces are we breaking? How do we watch this? Thank you. Femi is in the building. Femi, what's going on? I've been waiting for you, bro. He said, JAG's conference was a fraud. He knew it was a waste of time. Please don't speak about this guy, I beg. Femi, I hear you. No, Femi, don't forget what I'm saying is that the idea of a conference, not the conference they had. I told you, people went to conference to chop money. They went to sleep. They didn't show up for sessions. Who sent them? Who decided who went? All of that was rubbish. And in any case, Jonathan had an administration where he was so uninterested that it made it difficult to credit him. But I will continue to say, the concept, Femi, I wish everybody on your page now. Femi is 35 today. He's 35 today, and he cut his hair for the purpose. Femi is 35 today. I don't know. He has been an old man for a long time, but his age has caught up to his mind, because the mind of Femi was talking like a grown-up when we were children. I don't know what his problem was. When children are discussing things like forming Voltron, I'll be yellow lion, I'll be blue lion. Femi is talking about the markets. Which one concerns me as stock markets at the age of 10, 11, 12? What is wrong with? I look at Femi and say, what is wrong with this boy? What is wrong with this man? But it turns out it was right. It was right. And now he's an investment guru. So I guess he knew where he was going. The rest of us were talking about Big Deep ice cream. You guys remember Big Deep ice cream? Fan ice. Glory to God. Fan ice. Fan ice. The yogurt of yesteryear is better than the yogurt of the current time. I'm telling you. And then they had the fan ice, the big fan ice. The triangle. I don't know what shape that thing is, but it had corners. When you had all that time we were doing that, Femi was busy thinking big things. Happy birthday, Femi. Pastor Femi is the building prophet. Yeah, Femi said, Femi, you are greedy. I said he's 35. He's telling me he's 25. This is how people overdo it. This is what we're talking about with Nigerians. We're talking about Nigerians. Femi, you were there. You witnessed so many things that happened in the 80s. How are you not telling us that you're 25? The people who saw you there, when they hear you say you're 25 now, would they not be fighting you? That's why 35 is safe. You are still within range. You say 25. Come, get out of here. Put some respect on my name. No, like, Femi, leave me and food, please. As if you are not there. Femi knows about what I'm talking. The fan ice in church back in the day, the guy with the bicycle, where they passed by with the fan ice, and the yogo came later. That was another wonderful invention of human beings. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going off track. The jollof rice in the canteen and the meat pie in Surulere canteen is legendary. Please respect it. Since I was a boy, I have not seen meat pie like Surulere canteen meat pie. What am I trying to say? The meat pie, the crust was thin but firm. The potato mixed with the meat. Oh my goodness. they made it so that there was adequate representation from potato and meat. And they did not just use any meat, fresh meat. You can taste the freshness. Furthermore, the amount in totality that was placed inside the crust of the meat pie was such that you know they are getting value for your money. It was an amazing feat of ingenuity and culinary expertise. Now, the piece de resistance is that whenever you order the meat pie, somehow it was hot. Glory to God. It was hot. You see, Sule meat pie, canteen meat pie had to be eaten, how do I describe this? With dexterity. You place your hand under for the spillage because they overloaded it with meat. Are you following me? And then when you eat, you must take small bites because it's hot. And the heat inside is more than the heat outside. My goodness. I'm losing my mind. Let me calm down. Tell me we are talking about Nigeria. Let me leave that for another day. Sister Stacy is in building. So Nigeria, restructure, divide, or disintegrate. That's what we're talking about. Because the Endsars movement for me is a spark. It's an opportunity. I don't care if they name it SWAT again or they call it 911, whatever they like. Let them name it. Let them pretend. Let them play games. But I will not lose the fact that the spark is the spark, and I want that spark not to die. I want it to achieve more. Yeah, thank you, BC. I'm focusing. I'm coming back now. So with the Endsars movement, the idea is that our achievements on this thing, and I tell people the fact that they just change it to SWAT does not give you the right. You have the right. It is not. It doesn't speak well for someone to come online and say, "Didn't I tell you they will just play with you guys upon all your rioting and protesting? Now they have just changed the name. Are you seeing that it's useless?" It's like you don't understand how movements work. You don't understand how progress works. You don't understand how change works. That's right. Every story of change in history started with a spark. You don't get your results immediately. The important thing is consciousness. The important thing is the awakening. The important thing is the awareness. If by chance Nigerian youths are now awake, hey, watch out. It has been the issue before that there was no awakening and distraction is always, I don't know. Somebody said because the reason this is happening is because Big Brother Nigeria ended. I'm sorry, I don't believe in generalizing. A lot of young Nigerians are working hard and doing marvelous things. That one is well documented. Nigerian youth are in entertainment, in science. Forget. That was never, in fact, that's what frustrates us about the Nigeria situation. The potential we have in that country, the intellectual potential we have, we see it everywhere. Nigerians leave the shores of Nigeria, they go abroad and they become giants. So that was never the issue. But I think the issue of distraction is something about Nigeria. That's why entertainment is so wonderful in Nigeria, because entertainment is something Nigerians cherish. In the middle of suffering, we will go to comedy show. In the middle of a horrible situation, we'll be trying to get to the beer parlor. Nigerians, as a people, we love to celebrate. So even when we are suffering, that's why Fela says suffering and smiling. Even when we are suffering, we find ways to celebrate. So I think that has been part of our demise. It has caused us to be distracted in moments where we should be agitated. And that's why I was upset with the performance in the last election. I felt like there was not enough, no response from Nigerians. Nigerians just followed the same pattern in the last election. They just APC, PDP, they just fell in line. And I felt like there should have been more. I know all the third-party candidates are not good enough for you guys, but I never understood how they are worse than the guys you eventually voted for. I know there's rigging. Please don't come to me. I know the results are not really our results. No. There was palpable support for Atiku and palpable support for Buhari, not just in the north. Let's not play that game. There are Nigerians today still defending Buhari's regime. So it's not about, they rigged the election. No, there are people who are so tied to these structures that when we are saying these structures are not working, they will hold on tight and they will not hear anything. That's what happened in the last election. Somebody was telling me what kind of show were there, what kind of Mogalu, what kind of Ferraduro, and what kind of these people are rubbish. Who are they? Where did they come from? They should go and be senator first. And I said, I understand that. What I don't understand is that how is Buhari better? How is Atiku better? These people have tried already and they have failed. So what are you telling me? Let me tell you, if a pair of slippers, Dunlop, if a pair of slippers ran in opposition to Atiku and Buhari, I felt like Nigerians have suffered enough to vote for the slippers. I hope I'm saying something. I think that was where that's why I said I became quiet. People who know better than me educated me. One of them is Bayo Adedeji on this line. Bayo told me, because he's in business, he said, Bayo said, I'm driving through Nigeria. If you go into the hinterland, if you go to the north, you will see that they are not hearing anything. Sai Baba is the only thing you will hear. So he said, all the noise that the elites are making in Lagos, those of us online who are saying, it's time to do, say, there are people in Nigeria, they have not heard anything like that. So this election, you will just be shocked that all these third party candidates will not even win their own local government. They will not win their house. In their house, they will win. He was right. He was right, but I was disappointed, because forget about those who are not hearing. Among those who heard, who knew about the alternatives, the vitriol, the attack against these guys was so much. I said, like, I understand. So whether it's problematic, maybe his methods are unorthodox, maybe his advocacy for marijuana is unacceptable. Which, by the way, he was right, because nations like Canada and even Israel are trying to market Indian hemp now. But that's besides the point. But when he said that we should increase the minimum wage, federal minimum wage, it was called a pipe dreamer. And then the next day, the Buhari government announced an increase in minimum wage from 18 to 32. So he said 100, so he was crazy. So he said he's a stupid man. But then they immediately went and did what he said. He said that he would declare, I think it was that he would declare June 12 a national holiday, And then the next time the June 12 came around, Buhari's government, not only they declared the whole thing for it. I was like, so this man has the ideas, and the old people are still in and using it, but the people are looking at the young man and saying he's rubbish. So this is the movement I guess I was waiting for at the time. I wanted the urgency, but I think the urgency is now, because all these people that died. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me get your point. I'll be putting in that point. So the final point is this: restructure, divide, or disintegrate. What do you say? What do you say? Let me read my comment from Gafar Otumba here. So the movement is fantastic, and the gains of the protest should be consolidated by the youth by being political. The youth should not get their the youth should get their voters card, have their candidates in the House of Assembly, and hopefully we'll be able to retire some old political jobbers. You know what, Gafar, you have a point. What you have just done right now is you have awakened hope in some of us who have moved to the side of saying it's not possible. But I will buy into that, because if we can have such a movement, we can translate it. I saw Desmond Elliott going out and doing some work to get some of the protesters released, and I said to myself, they don't have to be perfect, all right? Some of these new blood politicians don't have to be perfect, but they must have sensitivity to the masses. That's all I'm asking for now. For now, I don't want saints, because I've discovered they are not available. But I want people who at least are sensitive, even if it's for political reasons. Desmond Elliott and the rest of them could have sat back and just let this thing go, or they could say, this is my chance to show the youth I'm with them. So now when you talk about Nigeria, should it restructure, divide, or disintegrate? And here's my point. To those who are saying Nigeria should break up, I want to say the same reason that you are giving for restructuring being unattainable is the same reason I will throw back to you for the breakup. The breaking up of Nigeria is not something that can be achieved by merely just agitating for breaking up. If the details are not fleshed out, I always make this joke, when the Yoruba form Oduduwa Nation, this was before things started really getting problematic. When the Oduduwa Nation concept came, someone said, what do I feel about it? I said, I am not against it, because you cannot tell people who are suffering that they should just endure the suffering and you have no solution for them. So if people are saying we want to leave, then they won't be the first. Exactly. Leadership is important. Leadership is very important for the movement, so it won't disintegrate. So the Oduduwa Nation concept is this. Yes, you can agitate for separation, but the issue will always come down to this question: in your separation agitation, what are the parameters? Who and who have you carried along? So now you have the Oduduwa Nation thing, and then some people came who are supposed to be back Oduduwa Nation, and they started fighting it and saying, what is this rubbish? Now, don't get me wrong, there will always be those who are stooges, those who are enjoying the corruption. They will always come and attack you. But the same problem we have that will keep us from restructuring will enter into our breakup. Who is breaking up? Who will lead the new breaking up? How will breaking up work? What resources are you taking with you as you break up? How will you effectuate your breakup? Are you relying on the other group, the other side of your story, the other side of your agitation? Are you relying on them to acknowledge your breakup? Will they congratulate you on your breakup, or will there be a war, to effect your breakup? If there's going to be a war to effect your breakup, have you done the calculation? Who is going to fight? Who is going to die? What is going to be left afterwards? Will you prevail? Because you don't have answers to those questions. So I want to tell you, if you don't have answers to those questions, please don't come and talk to me about breaking up. Don't talk to me about breaking up. You don't have answers. There's a biblical statement. There's a word in the scripture that says, he who is dressing up for war should calm down and not boast or brag, considering the person who is coming back from war and taking off the armor. So what does that mean? It's easy to speak of, let's break up, let's divide. It is after the war that people get to assess, was it worth it? And I'm telling you right now, if you don't do that calculation now, don't talk about breaking up. Nigeria is not mature enough to break up properly. That is the problem. The same corruption that is keeping us from doing well is going to keep us from breaking up well. I'm not against breaking up. I'm against breaking up stupidly. This is the issue. Let's break up, let's divide, let's break up, and you have no plan. You just end up maiming what is left. You just end up killing what is left. And that's my point. And that's why yesterday I love what Michael said. Even though he was denigrating the restructuring, he rubbished the restructuring. I disagree with him on that. I feel like, you have to keep the talk alive. The breaking up, there'll be regional trouble. But in fairness to those who want to divide, I want to, in their defense, yes, when you break up, the new regions you break up into might have issues, and that's fine. You have growing pains, but maybe you give yourself a chance to grow up as a different kind of nation. So it's not, the end product of a breakup that is well done, for me, I think is not a bad idea. Most of the great nations we see today, many of them broke up. They separated from the principle. So secession is not a new thing. So it's not unusual. The problem I have is that the machinery, the ingredients required for a proper division that can work are not existent in Nigeria. We don't have consensus. We don't have homogeneity. Within our tribes, there's too much dichotomy. So you don't have that, the Irish are the Irish, the Scottish are the Scottish. The Yorubas are not just the Yorubas, right? And so it's not clean, it's not clear cut. And that is why I move over towards those who want to restructure it, because breaking up might eventually become possible if you at least, settle some things and bring some balance to the situation first. And then within a balanced situation. So this is where, I hold that against those who are saying we should break up. Because from Michael's diary yesterday, he said something very powerful that I love. He said, how about a referendum? An agreement to vote as to whether or not to break up. I love that. Because it allows you to do, it's a form of restructuring, but it faces the same problem. Who will allow you to put a referendum of division on the ballot? Who will allow you to actually vote fairly for that referendum? Who will effectuate the referendum if it passes? You see the same problems. Because you want to do a referendum, but you are not in government. You are not in the Senate. You are not in the House. The referendum has to come through those bodies. And a sitting president who does not want a referendum has so much power to make sure it doesn't come to pass. So if you are claiming there's an oppressor, a class of oppressors who are running things, how do you get them? How do you get them to give you that go ahead? So okay, I love this. So BC says, in my opinion, what are 3 things needed for an effective breakup? Speculation, and I'll be the first to confirm to you that I am humble enough to tell you that I don't have the solution to Nigeria's problems. I thought I did. I am wiser now. I'm smarter now, and I apologize for the time I thought I did. But here's my thing. An effective breakup in Nigeria will require a return to federalism in one way or the other. I don't even know how you do it, but we need to get back to a point where the regions are given more power, and the states in their own sectors are given more power, like Brashegun was saying. And that's why the restructuring might as well be a precursor to the breakup. Breaking up right now, it would be like trying to forcefully divide a cake. The place you put the knife and you cut, that place will bleed out. So that's why you first of all, so like I said, you need to restructure in terms of the federalization, re-federalize Nigeria, let Nigeria become a true federalism and break up the center a little bit more. Then you can work on representation. When these regions have representation and then they now come together, it will be a true meeting of equals. Right now, because the center is controlling so many things, the center can favor one region above another. Unfortunately, the North has been favored over and over again. Over and over again. So the North has been favored. So you need to rectify that imbalance. That's why you have to find a way to reset the democracy and the federalism first. The conversation about breaking up is something that it could be done civilly. It could be a roundtable discussion. There could be maps in front of us, representatives from every minority, majority region, and we can even have subgroups in the regions to discuss first the mapping. Let's ask the people of Delta. Let's ask the people of Niger State, Kogi State. Where do you want to be? What part do you want to belong to? Let's get those data points, right? BC said, if Nigeria break up, what happens to those of us in diaspora? BC, you are selfish. Forget us for now. If the breakup will work, you still know where you came from. If it's Enugu, you still go back to Enugu. It's not a big deal. But if you don't know where you came from, you still trace your roots. The beauty of it is that if you decide to choose a region, you will go there and nobody will chase you out. Because at that point, the region will have its sovereignty. They will have its procedures for verifying who is the son of the soil. You can do all those things. You can have processes in place. It's possible once you have a system. That's what there must be a system. The system is what to produce representatives. The system will determine the terms of engagement, right? So those are my Oyibo again that I was saying that they told me that I should stop saying it, but it's the truth. Secession is a different thing from breaking up amicably. Secession is war. And I'm telling you, we are not ready for it. We don't have a guarantee for the outcome. And it might turn out, and if you don't have, you cannot show me any receipts of how you plan to break up and what will be left afterwards. If you break up and your whole region is wiped out in the breakup, it's not a breakup. Oh, you have just died. Hey, Taiwo Faleke is IC is in the building. So what do you think? Restructure, divide or disintegrate? And the thing is, but here's where I come down. It's either we restructure or we have a referendum and divide amicably and break up amicably, or we will just continue to wallow and get worse. And lives will be lost. The Endsars movement, I like it because it focuses the one thing that should lead us into a conversation, which is how do we see each Nigerian life? An Igbo life, an Hausa life, a Yoruba life, a life from the Delta, a life from Niger State, a life from Plateau, a life from Kano, a life from Lagos, a life that is emanating from Ogun State, an Ogun State life, an Ekiti life, an Anambra life. That thing that ties us together. If we start to value each of those lives and we say, no, we don't want anyone to die just like or suffer just like that, then it will if it guides us, then we can have a conversation and say, how do we structure Nigeria to value life so that police officers are not taking lives, armed robbers are not taking lives, herdsmen are not taking lives, disease is not taking lives, hunger is not taking lives. That, you see, that's the common denominator, lives. You fix your healthcare system so that lives are preserved. You fix your law enforcement system so that lives are preserved. You fix your economic system so that lives are preserved. So that's why I love what Endsars is about. It's life. At the bottom of it is human life. They are saying you are taking lives too cheaply and we will not stand for it. The day a Nigerian life, every Nigerian life becomes important. We have started a conversation we have needed for a long time. One of my biggest problems with Jonathan was the reaction of himself and his whole team to the abduction of the Chibok girls. I never blamed Jonathan for Boko Haram. I never blamed him for any of that. But his reaction when they said girls were missing, him and all some other people in Nigeria that were saying it's a hoax, that no girls are missing. I said, look, you may be right. Maybe no girls are missing, but I would sure love to see an effort to rescue. If you go after and try to rescue, and then you get there and find out no girls are missing, you would have tried, you would have done the right thing. But for you to sit at home and say, I don't even know if they kidnapped anybody, while the kidnap is happening, that means that life means nothing to you, not even the life of children. All the arguments we are having about they probably didn't pick anybody. Who does WAEC during this season? Are they even doing WAEC? All that rubbish. That was the thing that just triggered me. Say, life, the lives of the girls. If it's a hoax, we'll find out. If it's fake, we'll find out. But don't start the conversation by saying it's fake as an excuse not to go and rescue. And then you turn out years later that because you failed to act immediately, we lost the opportunity to save lives. And the ones we now rescued are telling us about all the other ones that died. So at the end of the day, Nigerians, hey, Arike is here, good evening. So, so let's talk about this. I'm finishing now. It says, I don't like this division. We need to see ourselves as Nigerians and not the division that's... the problem, BC, with that is that the divisions are real, okay? Any attempt to have a Nigeria without identifying the diversity is what's leading to what we have now. Pretending that, we are all one and we are being treated fairly as one is the problem. We need to identify the parts that make up the whole. And don't forget, in the initial stage, if we are to be true to our federal structure, it was never designed to erase the divisions. It was designed to give value to the larger sections of those divisions to make them effective. That's why the regions were formed. All right. But we have all these presidents that came. We have Gowon that came, created 36 states. We had, the military that came and just dissolved all the things that we had in the regions and brought everything to the center for them to rule by decree. And we never corrected those things. And so we are where we are. We are where we are because, no. BC, I blame Jonathan for the reaction to the Chibok girls. It was not about what we had or the equipment to catch the bad guys. No. It was about the attitude and reaction. It was about the attitude. We had a president who literally did not say anything. And then when he came out to speak, and when his wife came out to speak, they came out to speak about skepticism about whether or not the girls were kidnapped. We had a debate about whether or not these girls were really kidnapped. That's what we spent our time doing. That's the same thing that made me start this what I can call a podcast, a video cast with COVID and Corona. What is this nonsense? Now, when life and death situations are happening, we want to first of all sit down and have arguments about things that are trivial and they're without facts, and they go against what we are seeing. At the beginning of COVID, people were having conversation about whether it was 5G towers. While people were dying in bulk, don't let me say, are you out of your mind? We lost precious time just having a conversation about whether or not COVID is real. Today, people are still saying this is a hoax. This is the problem. The disease itself may not have won so much ground if we didn't start this whole thing by just, is it real? Who sent it to who? I don't believe it was. Are you kidding me? People are coughing, sneezing. Doctors are rushing beds into hospitals and ICUs, intubating, using oxygen. And you are sitting here saying, oh, you know what, that corona, I think is fake. It's like, that was the thing that blew my mind. That's the same thing with Nigeria. That's the same thing with Nigeria. The Jonathan, they eventually sent people, but they sent people after the conversation of, did they really catch them? Everybody knows that in the first 48 hours of it, and look, by the way, you see, you and I can sit here, but we know something. If Nigeria wants to find somebody, they will find him. All the people that they picked up, when they started picking up dignitaries, you see the way they mobilized the forces? We know now that we can do it. It's just a question of whether or not we want to. And even after that, the mere fact that we're having a conversation about whether or not there was any kidnap is the reason I believe it's the reason we lost our chance to save those girls. We failed them. We failed them as a nation. I was sitting here. I think my first real political tweet about Nigeria or post was on the Chibok girls. I remember posting and I said, is anybody else hearing that they've kidnapped some girls in Nigeria? And the responses I was getting was, don't mind them, it's political. I'm like, no, I understand. But did they kidnap girls? So we don't know, Jare, they might be lying. Well, okay, is anybody doing anything to find out? Who has been sent over there? IG of police. And they're like, nobody believes them, it's political, it's Jonathan's enemies. That was the reaction. So we are done. So it's not a question of ability in this case. It was a question of will. It wasn't important to us. And it's the same thing all over. Nigerian life has never been important to us. It is why our policemen can misfire. Let me tell you something. With the Black Lives Matter movement, African Americans that have been killed, one of the reasons we are fighting is because there's a sense in which They are being killed. They are being targeted. In Nigeria, it's not even so much targeting. It's just a carelessness with life, which just is just again. It comes back to every life must have a value. When somebody dies, things must shake, and that's why I love the SARS movement, Endsars movement. We need to shake it up. Let it be, so that there'll be consequences to the wanton killing, consequences to wanton misbehavior, consequences to police brutality. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. So on my final word on that is this. I feel that there's a form of restructuring that Nigeria needs. The restructuring might take the form of a referendum, as some have suggested. The referendum might be to determine whether or not we can continue as a unit, or whether we should amicably divide and set out the parameters for that division and a timeline. Hopefully we can get representatives. Hopefully it's something we can do. But we need to do an amicable division if we're going to divide. This idea of let's just break up is, for me, is rubbish. You that are saying let's just break up, you are not ready to die. You're ready to die, so please say that. Don't say that. You have no guarantee of what will come out on the other side. Let's try some other things first. The referendum idea, I like it. Let's agitate for referendum of whether or not we should stay together. Because I don't agree with those who just want to say, oh, we should just stay together. You can't say that. One side of your country cannot be suffering, and then you're telling them, just say, that's rubbish. For 60 years. After the British colonized us, then some other parts of our own country are colonizing and oppressing us, and you're telling us to just sit there. That's not realistic either. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show. The input has been crazy. Please share the video. And Esther is not here to remind me to share the video. I thank you to everybody who came in. Let's keep the faith. Next week we'll get back into some American politics. It's getting hot in here. Let's not be complacent. Those who are looking for a change, the polls are tightening like I predicted, not predicted, like I said, because it happens every year. Now the tightening is some of the polls are not showing the tightening yet, but with the reality. Hey, listen, man, it's true. It will take a lot of tough conversation, but at least we can start it now. This momentum, this Endsars thing can lead to the conversation. That's what I'm hoping. I hope it just doesn't die. I hope just so you get also. So BCO, yeah. So we're going to be switching to YouTube. Is YouTube channel. Let me see. I know my brother gave me the link for that. Please, on the YouTube channel, you can join me on the YouTube channel. we need to get to YouTube, because on YouTube we can actually have the conversation. So let's meet on the YouTube for the election night special. Election night special. We're definitely going to have to be doing it on the election night special, November 3rd, special night. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. We'll be watching the election and doing something. So that's going to be on YouTube. So I want everyone to please join me on YouTube. I know that it's something that many of us are comfortable with this platform, and it's difficult to switch over, but we need to do it so we can begin to actually enjoy the benefits of being on YouTube and having these conversations, and we can get everybody in here. So I put the link for the YouTube station there. Please copy it and paste it and subscribe. I'll do a better job of sending that information out, as BC has been pushing me. So so the YouTube link is here. Please, you subscribe, but I'll do a better job of actually tagging everybody with the video, and you can subscribe directly. But we're going to have a conversation on election. It's going to be crazy. This election is one for the books, and I need you to be there with me. It's your boy JFK. Don't forget to comment, share the link, share the video, drop a line. You can still keep the party going. Do a watch party. Do you? And let me know what we're doing well. Let me know what we need to change. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Let me know topics. Let me know what you think I should be talking about, other things that you're picking up. But I'm proud of my Niger people for the Endsars movement. And thank you. This is giving you the actual. This is a good link. Please post this up there, and then let's see how we can. I'm going to put it up right now. So yes, check the YouTube. On the YouTube, we can do more. We can definitely do more, and you can show your support a little more. So I put the link up here. So we have two options. You can go to. Actually, let me take this one out. So this one. So now we can have this one. Let me put this up again. So here it is. So I put it up just for a few more seconds. Please check it out. But don't worry. I will make sure that we put it up next week. I'll flash it, because that's where we're going to be for the election night special. So that'll be easy. The election is coming soon, early voting is looking good, but let's not be complacent. There's been some reporting that there's been an increase in registration for Republican GOP registration of new voters. There's been a spike in that in the last couple of days. So that is one of the things we have to watch out for in case that begins to match the what we've earned. But those of us who are looking for change. So we need to be. Nobody can be complacent. It's not time to rest. Early voting, early voting, early voting everywhere. Let's keep doing that. It will be difficult to steal the election if everybody has posted. Okay, so yeah, okay. Let me see. So let me see my profile. That's true. Let me see. You know what? Let me just do this. I'm gonna. So let me do this, Sister Rike. I'm going to put it in your I'm going to inbox you. I'm going to inbox you the link, and then I'll start putting it on my profile too, so that everybody can start getting to it. BC, you will help me with that. We're going to put it on our profile, and then we'll start doing it. So I'm going to let you guys go now. 6:48. It's your boy. Next week we're going to be talking about Trump, how he wants to kiss all the men and kiss only the beautiful women, and what's going on with that whole mess. There's something I really want to talk about, which is the report that all the noise they were talking about, they're talking about the unmasking that they will arrest Obama and everybody because of the unmasking. The unmasking report is out. Nobody's getting indicted. They finished the case of unmasking, and nobody did anything wrong. Like I told you, it's amazing how much lies they've been telling people. But I'm going over my time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy JFK. Watch out next time. We're going to talk a little bit more. Watch out for my flyer. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Please share the video and let other people get involved. I'll talk to you soon.